Today, I wanted to talk about the movie A Country Wedding, the Hallmark movie. Before I start, my disclaimer, there will be spoilers because this is a one-sided discussion about the movie A Country Wedding. If you like movies such as A Country Wedding, I want to encourage you to check out my book, Loving Luke. It's published by my publishing company, Divine Desserts Publishing, LLC. And the reason why I think you will like this book, if you like A Country Wedding, is because the plot is somewhat similar to A Country Wedding, where you've got two people who fell for each other when they were young, and then they reconnect as adults. That's what happens in Loving Luke. I will talk more about Loving Luke at the end of this video. So again, this is the discussion for A Country Wedding with Jesse Metcalfe. And this is one of my favorite Hallmark movies. I really love this movie. And they always show it on Hallmark. It's an ongoing thing for them to show it. I believe a lot of Hallmark fans must feel as I do, because why would they keep showing this movie over and over again? So the movie is about Bradley Sutton. He used to live next door to Sarah. And when they were kids, they were friends. And then Bradley's parents are killed in a car accident. And he's got to move away since his parents are dead. And now he doesn't have a family. So Sarah steps up to the plate and says, well, if you marry me, we can be a family. This is when they were children. So they have another friend who actually grows up to be a preacher. He marries them. Again, this mock wedding is done when they were like maybe 8 or 9 years old or something. And so now they're adults. Brad's been gone all this time. And now they're going to reconnect. And they haven't seen each other, I guess, in about 2 decades, from what I can gather. I figure both of them must be in their 30s now. I don't know. They didn't really say their age, but they were very young when they did the mock wedding. So, and Bradley is very famous. He is a country singer, and he is engaged to Catherine Mann. Catherine Mann is another celebrity, and both of them have this fairy tale romance that the media seems to really eat up. So when they are interviewing them at the beginning, Catherine and Bradley, they're talking about, about them being a couple and everything. And then Sarah sees them on the TV, Bradley and Catherine. And Sarah, like I said, hasn't seen Bradley in a long time. So seeing him on TV prompts her to get the ring that he's given to her as a kid when they got married. Married as in mock married. And she sends it back to him, mails it with a little note. And what surprised me was, I was surprised that he actually received the letter and the ring, because when you're famous, you don't necessarily receive all of your mail. I mean, it's delivered, but usually you have a PR person or something to go through it. And later on, it's revealed that the ring belonged to Bradley's mother. So it was a real diamond ring. I found it kind of hard to believe that Sarah had this ring all these years, this real diamond ring, and it's a good size ring, just holding it, and it's actually Bradley's mom's ring. It was just a little bit strange to have this real diamond like that. And plus, she's having financial problems, so that's another thing that I thought was strange. If you've got this diamond ring and you need the money, I would think you would have sold it or whatever, because you and Bradley you haven't seen Bradley since you were a child. But again, it's a Hallmark movie, and when it's a movie, you can kind of do whatever you want as long as you make it seem somewhat plausible. Another thing that I found that was kind of strange about the movie. Bradley lived next door to Sarah and he moved away when he was 13. But what was a little bit strange was it's been 20 years since he's been there and he's an adult and he still owns the house and he's never been back to it. I do think that they did mention at one point that there was a maintenance staff that came through to make sure the house was okay. But I just thought it was strange to have this house sitting there empty in a regular neighborhood, like a neighborhood where people live. It's not like it's like in a secluded area where nobody goes to. I thought that was a little bit strange. Now, what I like about Bradley, he is very easy on the eyes. He is so cute. And I thought he was perfect for this role because it's just nice to see somebody good looking when you're watching a movie. I mean, that's just the way I feel. Depending on the kind of movie it is, though. But like for a romance, I just kind of like the guy to be really handsome. And Bradley is handsome. Let's see. What's weird is when Bradley shows up and him and Sarah reconnect, I thought that was kind of cute because Sarah is shocked to see him. And he tells her why he's back. That he got her ring and everything, and that he wants to try and sell the house. And she knows that he's engaged to Catherine. I thought it was kind of strange when Bradley goes to sleep at night. He actually sleeps with his teddy bear. Usually you don't see a grown man doing that. And if someone's grown to do that, I could see a woman doing that more so than a guy. But that was just something that was a little bit strange. Now, another thing that I thought was strange, again, I'm mentioning these strange things, but I did like the movie. But I'm thinking there's a lot of little peculiar things that are peculiar that I don't think necessarily translate into real life, but it's plausible enough to put into the movie. Something else that I really liked was how Sarah needs to have her fence mended. Sarah has all these horses and she takes in orphaned horses or horses that are no longer needed, and she fosters them and keeps them. But people don't always pay her for the upkeep for these horses, so that's why she doesn't have any money. So she's pretty much short on money, and she's hoping to get a grant to provide for the upkeep for the horses, because if she doesn't get this grant money, she's going to lose her farm. So she really loves animals, and I wondered if she had her PhD. They mentioned her going to vet school, so I guess she's a doctor. I don't remember anybody in the movie mentioning that she was a doctor, but I do wonder if she was. So I thought it was strange how Bradley and Sarah decide to help each other out. Brad needs to plan his wedding to Catherine Mann. And so he gets Sarah to help him. And in exchange, Sarah will mend his fence, which is weird because why would a woman want somebody else planning her wedding? And Catherine is not even there for like half of the movie because she's away filming. But while they plan the wedding, that's when they actually fall in love. They reconnect, they go fishing, they do all these things. Go fishing, they go and they go get the cake, they go pick out a wedding cake, and they spend time with their friend, the one that actually married them when they were like kids. They reconnect in a big way, and when he kisses Sarah, that is when Sarah loses it. And Bradley comes to her like I guess it's not long after they kissed, and he said, "Are you avoiding me?" And she's like, "No, I've got a lot to do." And so she tells him, let's put everything on, put the brakes on everything for a while. I've got a lot to do. Don't worry about doing the fence for the next few days. So another thing that I wanted to mention that was weird, and kind of like that Sarah picked up on, she would ask Bradley about Catherine, like ask him questions like, what's her favorite flower? What's her favorite color? And he never knew anything about Catherine. So What I liked about Sarah, she goes after what she wants, and I feel like she's honest. I don't feel the same way about Brad. I think Brad is wishy-washy. Like, I think he kind of knows what he wants and he's just scared, but Sarah's not. So when he kisses her, like they've been doing all this wedding planning and she's been asking him all kinds of questions because she wants him to give him the wedding that he deserves. She wants to make sure that everything is done according to, you know, so that to him and Catherine can have a good wedding. But what I really liked after the kiss, he's so standoffish towards her, and she says to him, I'm going to be honest with you, you cannot marry Catherine. And that's when she says, you don't love her. You don't even know anything about her. You don't know her favorite flower, her favorite color. You don't know anything about her at all. And why am I making the plans for her wedding? And that really resonated with me because she also says that he says that he doesn't, that's a fairy tale, like being in love, because him and Catherine are suited for each other. They have the same lifestyle and that sort of thing. And she goes, that is not why you get married. You get married because you can't stand the thought of going another day without seeing that person, or something along those lines. And then she like drives off in her truck, but to go deliver her flowers. But I like how she's honest. Now, when Catherine shows up, because Catherine kind of sees a newspaper article about Bradley and Sarah being, dating and being together, she comes to reclaim her groom. So I thought it was kind of underhanded how Catherine got rid of Sarah. Like, she was able to find a place for her to go to, but you notice that she arranges for her to go so that in a fashion so that she wouldn't be able to go attend the wedding. So I have a list of things that I liked and didn't like about the movie. I kind of went over most of these already, but some of the things another thing that I thought was endearing, the once in a lifetime thing, happily ever after is like once in a lifetime. I think Sarah kind of feels that way. Like, you need to just grab hold of what you want or it's gone. I do like how when Brad comes home to where he grew up as a child, how it unlocked his music. He was able to compose and do a lot of stuff that he wasn't able to do because he was kind of blocked when he was out there and famous. Now that he's home, he's been really busy composing music, and he wasn't able to do that in a while. So it kind of unblocks him, which is refreshing. Let me see what else. Is there anything? Oh, another thing that was interesting, when Catherine Mann shows up unexpectedly, Brad is not happy to see her, and you can tell. And Catherine does not like the house. She doesn't like the clothes he has on. And she wants to go out to a fancy restaurant to eat. And he says, well, there's nowhere to go but the diner. And Catherine's like, well, where do people eat? And he's like, they eat at home. I thought that was hilarious how, that kind of brought how that shows the disparity of his old life and the way his life is right now. Now, another thing I wanted to mention, when Hallmark shows these movies on TV, on the Hallmark Channel, sometimes there's little snippets in the movie that they don't show. Because what I wanted to point out was, I thought this was a plot hole, but actually it's not. I watched this movie on Hallmark Movies Now. When you watch it streamed on Hallmark Movies Now, you'll see the whole movie. When you watch it on the Hallmark Channel, they might take out a little bit of it. But unless you're like really, it's not like they take out a lot of the movie, but it might be like a little bit of a scene or two. I thought it was a plot hole when Sarah leaves because Catherine gets rid of her. Catherine is able to find a place for her to go, and so that she doesn't have to worry about funding for her horses. She finds this place that's going to take in her horses, and Catherine can go to this place and actually work for this guy in Hollywood. So when she leaves, you see her leaving. And then when she leaves, you see her going to the bank. And then like in the Hallmark, and the version that's shown on the Hallmark channel, she comes back like a few minutes later in a cab. And then she comes back and then like goes into her house, and the dogs the dogs come out and like greet her and everything. And then she goes into the back and she sees all these people there, and she doesn't understand what happened with the wedding and stuff. Like, why didn't they have the wedding? I was always confused as to why she left and came back. That was weird because they didn't explain it. When I watched the version on Hallmark Movies Now, like the streamed version, there's a snippet that Hallmark actually removes where the cab driver says to Sarah, you know, how does it feel to be back home? So you kind of know that she's actually physically left, like actually left for a while and came back. And she said, well, it's not home anymore. I just came to pack up. So that's what she says. So they never explained that before. I thought it was a plot hole, but now that I get to see the whole thing, I see that, you know, where they have taken that out and put it, you know, how they've taken that out in the version that they show on TV, probably for commercials or something. I don't know. So, another moment that really resonated with me was when Bradley finds out how underhanded Catherine is, because he finds out that Catherine has bought Sarah's ranch. And she wants to take that ranch and affix all the property, like take Bradley's house and Sarah's property and make a really huge house for her and Bradley, for Catherine and Bradley. And he's upset with Catherine for doing this because that's Sarah's home and he knows how she feels about it. So it's really resonating with me when he says to her, I can't marry you. He says to Catherine, I can't marry you. And she's just kind of like startled. And he asked her, do you love me? And she said, yes. And he said, well, why? And she doesn't really give a really good reason. She's just like basically parroting the words, I love you. And he probably says the same thing to her enough. But it's like they're two puppets just saying something to say it. There's no feeling behind the words. So, and I think that's something that he was able to, you know, relay to her when he basically, for lack of a better word, broke up with her. So there was no wedding. And I also noticed for the rehearsal, they had a wedding rehearsal and because the wedding was going to be in Sarah's barn, which I thought was a little bit weird, but okay. And they showed Sarah looking at the rehearsal wedding between Catherine and Brad, and she was like crying. So that was really just very strange. I can't see all of this happening in real life, but again, this is a Hallmark movie. I love the ending when Sarah goes out to the barn and sees all the townspeople, and all Bradley says is mint chip. He goes mint chip. He says her favorite ice cream flavor, her favorite flower, all the stuff he didn't know about Catherine, he knew about Sarah. So he asked Sarah to marry him. And of course she says yes. And of course there's going to be a wedding. But I will say this. At one point when they were looking for wedding dresses, when we were looking for tuxedos for Brad, Sarah tried on a wedding dress. I didn't like her dress. I thought it was too plain. But Sarah's kind of understated anyway. But still, a wedding dress should be beautiful. I didn't really care for the wedding dress. So, but I thought the movie overall was very good. I think I went through all of my little notes and everything. If you like this movie, liked it or not liked it, can you tell me why? And any ideas about movies that I should do videos for, and I'm open about formatting or whatever, because this is all new to me with what I'm doing with these videos. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. It's hard to do with one person. It'd be better if I had another person doing this with me, but that's hard to set up. It would be nice. because I think we could feed off for each other's energy. But if anybody has any suggestions on, talking points or what to do for future videos, I highly appreciate it, because I'm feeling my way around with this, trying to figure out what to do. Anyway, as I said in the beginning of this video, this is sponsored by Divine Desserts Publishing, LLC, and check out Loving Luke. It's available on Amazon. It's available on Kindle and Kindle Unlimited. So if you want to read it on your Kindle, you can do it that way, or you can buy a paperback copy. And this is about Kim and Luke. They're high school sweethearts, and they broke up. Well, they were separated in high school, and they haven't seen each other in a long time. So fast forward 8 years, Luke is back in town, and Luke is back in town, and Kim has not seen him for a long time, and a lot has happened. And now it looks like they're going to reconnect, and lots of sparks fly, and it is oh so good. Let me read the back to you. When Kim Taylor returns to Bethlehem to run her family's cookie bakery, her life is in shambles. She doesn't get along with her dad, and she secretly longs to fix their broken relationship. She's stunned when Luke Barnes, her former high school boyfriend, strolls into her bakery. Recently widowed, Luke has returned to Bethlehem to raise his daughter, Lisa, in a wholesome environment. Seeing Kim reawakens Luke's memories from long ago. Their high school romance is a painful reminder of the man he used to be. However, falling for Kim is not on his agenda right now. Luke is struggling with a problem, and it looks like Kim is the only person that can help him solve his dilemma. Luke has already hurt her once, so can she find the courage to trust him again? Like in Country Wedding, you know how Bradley needed someone to help with the plan his wedding? Well, Luke needs some help as well, and it looks like that Kim is the right person to help him, or it seems that way. So check it out by Cecilia Dowdy, Loving Luke. And also let me know if you liked the movie A Country Wedding, and tell me your favorite parts of the movie. Leave a comment or whatever, however you want to do it. But I really want to know what you liked about that movie, and why do you think Hallmark shows it all the time? Because that's like they show it several times a year. So it would be interesting to hear why you think that is. Okay, thanks again. Have a great day.